Hello and Happy New Year. We've got a lot to talk about in the new year when it comes to public safety here in St. Louis. Come on back. Back here in the studios with me today for City Corner is our new Director of Public Safety, Judge Jimmie Edwards. Hello, how are you today?
Hi, Robin. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy to have you here. We've been friends for many, many years and colleagues,
yes.
And you in the past, while working at the Juvenile Division, inviting me to come in and sit in your courtroom and
yes.
really sit down and watch how you handled not only the young people, the juveniles, when it came to dealing with their court cases, but you sat there and you worked with the parents as well. Are you going to take what you did in your courtroom with the vigor that and the passion that you have toward those kids and do the same thing with the Public Safety Department for the City of St. Louis?
Yeah, absolutely. There is no measurable difference between children that I have always tried to support and do what was in the best interest of those children, and moving now into public safety with respect to the citizens of the City of St. Louis. I believe that as a public servant, we have the responsibility to do whatever we can do to make sure that the lives of our citizens are better. And the only way that you have the opportunity to do that is that you have to engage the public. You have to be present and you have to be seen. You have to have the appropriate contact, the appropriate conversations in order to be helpful. And so I have pledged, and I pledged to the mayor at the time that she asked if I would come over to City Hall, if I would leave the bench to do that. And of course, I agonized about that.
I bet you did,
and
yeah.
As a judge for 25 years, it's very difficult to move into an environment where you don't have the last word.
No, you don't. And that's why I was like, well, now, Jimmy was used to being in there and being the boss over all, but now you've got not only several different people that you have to answer to, not to say that you didn't as a judge working with the state, but you now oversee almost you've got a huge amount of the individuals within the City of St. Louis, a huge department that covers building division, city emergency management agency,
yes.
The civilian oversight board, which we can talk about a little bit later, which is kind of new to that department.
Yes.
The corrections division, which is that the Justice Center?
The Justice Center and the Media Institution.
Okay, and the excise division as well, which is, the excise is what, alcohol?
Alcohol licensing,
okay.
correct.
The fire department, I had no idea. The fire department, the police department, of course, neighborhood stabilization, you've got some great NSOs.
Yes.
So I just want to let you know that now you've got some great NSOs and Office of Special Events, and among other things that you oversee. But you've got a big job here to oversee some huge departments that
yes.
really do affect the citizens of this
yes,
community.
I oversee 66%
Okay.
of the city's employees, which is an awesome responsibility that I take very seriously. And I've spent most of my time up to now with the police department, of course, trying to identify the right person to lead the rank and file of our police department. And I think we found the right person in John Hayden to become the new commissioner of the St. Louis Police
We
Department.
tried to get John Hayden for this show. He was very busy today and could not get in. We'll get him on another time. I was a part of that group of citizens who, from the beginning, from the first meeting, made sure that the City of St. Louis understood what we had to have.
Yes.
And we met several times, and we were all very pleased to see what happened there.
Well, thank you very much. And my interest in selecting the chief was to select the best person, someone that was culturally competent,
Yes.
someone that had the ability to go out and to engage our citizens, but more importantly, somebody that had the ability, the know-how, and the experience to reduce violent crime in the city of St. Louis. And I'm very happy with the choice, and by all account, others are as well. but nothing happens in public safety without our citizens. Without our neighbors, we don't accomplish anything. So unless our citizens actively participate in the public safety in the city of St. Louis, John Hayden will fail. Unless our citizenry help, I will fail. And so it's so important for our citizens to understand that if they are victims of crime, they must report it. If they are aware of criminal activity, they must report it. It's easy. Too often, we've gotten away from being responsible. It's a part of the fabric of this country for us to participate. And so we have to change the narrative in the city of St. Louis, and I'm not naive enough to believe that we don't. I know that for a long time, we've been concerned with that saying, snitches get stitches. Well, we're going to change that narrative because we have a responsibility. And so if you see something, say something. And so let's be about being engaged with our police.
Now, if there's a public service announcement you're going to put together for the Public Safety Department, I would love to design that and make sure it gets to the right places because it's so important. People complain all the time about the issues that are going on in their neighborhoods. I mean, good folks that I know who live in the city of St. Louis, who work for the city.
Yes.
And they love their neighborhoods. In fact, they come into old neighborhoods where they used to live, get old homes, renovate them, want to live there where mom and dad raised them, but then they've got to deal with something that's down the street or down the alley that is unnecessary. They complain and then they get hit. It's like a vicious circle that happens to people. The organizations that are already out there, Better Family Life, just to name one, and some others that are very busy, I'm sure that you and Chief Hayden have found out that you don't have to reinvent the wheel, that you already have a mechanism out there. How well are you all going to engage those groups to help continue to do what they're doing out there?
It's imperative that all of those groups participate with us. I'm operating on two levels. I expect our police officers to engage in community policing. I expect that our command staff will engage in community engagement. So we're going to engage community engagement in addition to community policing. In order to do that, we need folk like James Clark and Demetrius Johnson. And so we need all of those agencies. But more importantly, I think the people that we need the most are our preachers, the faith-based folk that have the ability to connect with people in order to help us change the narrative. Public safety is very important. And in order to participate in public safety, you have to be brave. You have to be brave enough to pick up the phone when you see that criminal activity is occurring in and around you. You have to be brave to do that. So public safety is all of our responsibility, not just John Hayden, who is an exceptional chief,
yes, he is.
And not just Judge Edwards, who believes that he has the appropriate vision and the policies to implement and to change the outcomes that we have been getting over the last few years.
You've got a lot of work ahead of you in pulling things together, but I think you're gradually pulling together a good team. You've pulled on board a great chief of staff, a chief of police who gets it.
Yes.
He understands St. Louis. He was raised here. Yes. He's educated. He gets what's going on. That was one thing that Chief Isom said in the past, that he really liked seeing educated police officers understand what's going on so that when they go to the streets, can understand how better to deal with people. One thing you said when you were first appointed to the position by Mayor Cruzen was that you wanted to talk to the sergeants.
That's right.
You weren't interested in commanders. You wanted to talk to the folk who are out there. Why is that?
Yeah, too often we spend a lot of time worried about leadership. We spend a lot of time being concerned about the command staff. But the people that are really doing the heavy lifting in the city of St. Louis are the rank and file, the men and women that are on the street every single day. And the persons that are responsible for those are the sergeants. These are the people that whenever things are going wrong on the street, the sergeants will know it. In fact, if we have officers on the street that are not behaving appropriately, it will be the sergeants that will know first and foremost. And I'm not naive enough to believe that we have a perfect police department.
Sure.
But we have a very good police department. And we have some people within our rank and file that ought not be police officers. It will be the sergeants that will make that decision. They will know that before that information reaches the chief.
So with especially with Hayden's internal affairs background, that will start being penetrated, I'm sure, and I'll talk with him about that as I get an opportunity to talk with him. But we'll be seeing some good things happen with the new leadership there.
Well, I can tell you things are already happening in terms of internal affairs. I have this great expectation that our police department will be accountable for every single thing that happens, but most importantly, that it will be transparent. And so when things are occurring in internal affairs, then all of our citizens ought to be able to know who the person is that is being investigated and the final disposition with respect to any type of punishment or whether the case has been referred to the prosecutors. Those things are important to me, transparency and accountability.
How can we keep politics out of this and just do the right thing?
You know, for 25 years, I've been a nonpartisan judge. I don't play well in the sandbox in terms of politics. I say what I say very clearly, and I mean what I say. And so I try very hard so that people understand that if you do the right thing, I will support you. If you don't do the right thing, then I will deliver you to the FBI.
That's true,
It's
and
cut
I believe
and it's
that.
dry.
I believe, because I've seen you in the courtroom, and you don't play. And you mean it very seriously, and that's why when the announcement was made that you were appointed to that position, a lot of people were very pleased to hear about that because they knew you were a no-nonsense kind of person.
Yes.
You've gotten things done. You've got some wonderful things going. You still have the school. What's the name of the school that you have?
Innovative Concept Academy is very, very dear to me and close to my heart. I opened that school in 2009 because there were too many African-American children, brown children, and poor children that were being expelled from our schools under laws. Some laws that, in my mind, are very silly laws. The 1995 Missouri Safe School Act, where it expels children out of public schools for reasons that I believe are not appropriate. Zero tolerance laws. They are all over this country, but in my mind, zero tolerance makes zero sense. We don't even have zero tolerance for adults, yet we have them
It
for
seems
children.
that way, doesn't it? I mean, you know,
Yes.
but you decided to take a concept and take the kids that you saw in the courtroom
That's right. That's
and
right.
made sure that they went to school.
Because it's important to me that they be given an opportunity to have some success. When the school buildings take away hope from children, they have no way of succeeding. So it's important to me that we bring children that nobody else wants. We put them in my building and we embrace them and we teach them good behaviors. We try to eradicate the bad behaviors. We try to address recidivism. We provide the appropriate mental health, the appropriate anger management, the appropriate drug treatment and interdiction, and then we talk to them about the ability to be good people.
I'm going to talk with you more about that when we come back. That is so interesting, and you won an award, and we're going to talk about that many years and the help that you've gotten behind that. I'll be back in just a minute to talk more about this wonderful opportunity that we have here in St. Louis through public safety to get it right. We'll be right back.
Every time I hear the alarm bell go off in school, I think it's an air raid.
A lot of houses in our neighborhood have been destroyed.
I like to close my ears and sing songs whenever the bombs come close.
I'm worried our new neighbors won't like us.
But I know it's all gonna be worth it.
I just want my family to be safe.
But these are not my words.
These are not my words.
These are not my words.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Back in the studios, I'm Robin Boyce, and I'm here with Judge Jimmie Edwards, who is Public Safety Director for the City of St. Louis. Can we still call you Judge?
Please
Even when you're
do.
not Judge?
Please do.
I thought that was like the proper thing to do. You know, we're still calling President Obama President
That
Obama.
is the appropriate thing to do.
I thought it was okay that we can
Yes.
still do that.
Yes.
Getting back to your school, tell us more about it. You won some awards with People Magazine, and it was a big splash, like back in 2009 when this happened.
Well, I've been the beneficiary of a lot of success.
Yes.
Not because of me, but because of the children after school. People Magazine decided that it was a wonderful place to be.
And
as
it
a
is.
result,
It's a great school.
I was voted People's Magazine Person of the Year.
Most deserving.
And then Ebony Magazine followed. And then I was just really amazed and ecstatic when Chief Justice of the United States, Justice John Roberts, presented me with the Rehnquist Award, the William Rehnquist Award, which is the highest judicial award in America. And so I was just really flattered and humbled. And as a result of our school and some of the great successes
Yes.
that we've had,
Yes.
we've had children to graduate our school and to attend college, matriculate college and graduate college. Now remember, these are children that folk thought that were so incorrigible
Sure.
that they were unable to learn. And as a result of the many successes that we've had at the school, successes like reducing recidivism in that cohort, children that are behaving better, children that are obtaining jobs and continuing their education. So just recently, and I'll give a commercial here.
Yes, please.
There was a documentary that was made about our school called For Akeem.
Yes.
For Akeem has done extremely well. It has played all over the world, including Germany and Korea, places all over the world. The Soviet Union, for example, played For Akeem. And it has gone in all of the film festivals, including Tribeca Film Festival, Sundance Film Festival, AFI up in Illinois. It also opened theatrically all over the world, in California,
And it played
New
here
York,
for a few...
and in St. Louis
Yes.
for a few weeks. So it is doing extremely well. I'm very proud and honored that
So that was about your school.
it was about my school. It's about a child at my school, and a very small part about me.
Sure. Now that's absolutely fantastic.
Yes.
Now with reference to the success rates, some of the kids come back after they've graduated, or
Yes.
what are you seeing?
Yes, this is a family. You are always welcome back to Innovative Concept Academy, and indeed they do come back. And they come back with their testimonies, with their stories, and which oftentimes inspire the younger kids that are at the school.
Tell us, what are we not getting right when it comes to young people? Now, you've been in the courtroom.
Yes.
You were at the Juvenile Center for 20-something years as judge, overseeing our young babies over there with reference to them getting in trouble, and because we can get in trouble sometimes. You started the school seeing the fact that we don't really need to have kids out of school. No matter what it is they do, they need to be in the school learning something. What are we not getting right?
Well, there are three pathways to delinquency. It doesn't matter whether they're your children or mine.
Right.
If there is a lack of adult supervision.
That's number
Plus-
one.
too much idle time,
Number 2.
plus economic constraints.
Okay.
If those 3 things exist in a child's life, that child is going to end up in the criminal justice system. So at my school, what we try to do is eliminate 2 of those in any combination. None of us have any money. And so my focus is to eliminate the lack of adult supervision and too much idle time. And so when we deal with children and people ask, well, you know, what is this the special thing that we have to do? And children,
Right.
by the way, are no different than adults
No, they're not.
when it comes to this. And so in order to give a person some hope and some success, we have to be patient, we have to be understanding, and we have to provide opportunity. And if we don't provide that, then people tend not to do well. They tend to withdraw and perhaps even atrophy. It's important that opportunity be given. And just to pivot back to public safety, I can go into a neighborhood and I can say, well, we're going to take away your guns, we're going to take away your drugs. Whether we agree or not, those are their livelihoods. Those are the tools of their livelihood.
Right.
I take those away because it's criminal. Well, what do I replace them with?
Right.
And so it's important not only that we do good policing, which we will, but we also have to provide opportunity, which we will. And so we'll do that utilizing the SLATE program.
Sure.
We'll do that utilizing Demetrius Johnson and Better Family Life. We'll do that utilizing all of the opportunities that our corporate partners will provide to inner city children.
Because constantly what I'm hearing with reference to talking to young people and to parents and folk in the community, jobs, jobs, jobs.
Absolutely.
Industry, 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 getting it back into the community. It's almost like I wish I could go downtown to Room 200 and say, look, let me organize a sales team to bring businesses to this community.
It's important.
We've lost so many that have gone either, you know, because of the times, things have changed, the industries have changed, technology has changed things. But there's so many different kinds of industries that I don't think St. Louis is reaching out for that could come into this community and really, truly make a difference in this community and grow people, grow communities, grow homes, and make a difference. Because if you don't have, it's not enough to put up a house and a grocery store if you don't have a job to pay that rent or pay that house note or to buy those groceries. So we've got to get industry back in here and jobs.
Yeah, and that's important, and it's real important. But the root cause of this failure, as I call it, is just a lack of education. It's important that we teach our children. See, because we can talk about trade. We can talk about the carpentry trade.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if our kids can't read a ruler, then it doesn't matter.
But we've had those programs available where kids were not going to school.
We have to keep them in school.
You
It's
know, they
imperative.
weren't going. We've had programs that have been developed, Judge Edwards, where corporations got together and supported them, sponsored them, and our young people were not going to school. It was hard trying to keep them
I
in there.
talked about patience, and I talked about understanding. We have to
Which
have
you
patience.
seem to be successful in doing with your school.
Yes, you have to have patience, because initially, the kids are not going to buy in. There has to be buy-in. They have to trust you in order to buy in. The only way that they're going to trust you is that you have to keep showing up. Even when they don't want you to show up, you keep showing up. And then after a while, then we can teach them. I have to teach them how to be respectful. I have to teach them to appreciate the generosity of strangers. I do have to teach them how to love themselves and to love others. All of that behavior is learned behavior. And if they've not learned that, then there's no way for them to have any hope. there's no way for them to have any success.
That's the truth. Looking at the minimum security, the workhouse that folks have been, it was probably one of the big sticking out points during the mayoral race this time last year. Any changes that we're going to see happen over there? Because that's a place that I've visited several times to do workshops and talk to some prisoners. Is this something that's going to happen differently?
I was at the workhouse last week.
Okay.
And the workhouse is coming along. Structurally, it's an old building.
Yes.
But what we can do in the workhouse is we can make it better. We can be better people. We can be better stewards of the workhouse. And I think that is occurring currently. I also visited the Justice Center. I've also visited every single police officer in the city of St. Louis. I've attended every roll call. I've gone to the firehouses. And so my message is very simple. I don't have a whole lot of money to give you. Can't pay you any more money, but I can show you a whole lot of respect, and I can show you a whole lot of gratitude.
Well, I think the taxpayers took care of getting some more money for the police officers, even though there was some that said, hey, but that's been taken care of. But when it comes to common sense that you're talking about, I think that's really going to make a difference.
Yes.
It's going to make a big difference for this community.
Yes.
So when it comes to looking at your goals, one of the top ones for 2018, what would that be?
Well, to reduce crime. Crime has just really destroyed North St. Louis. We know where the crime is, and we're going to focus
And
where
it's
that
time
crime
to take it
is.
out?
And it's time to take it out.
All right.
And so I want equitable policing, I want decent policing, I want respectful policing, and of course, I need the citizens to buy in.
To buy in and call and make a difference. I
Absolutely.
want to thank you so much for coming in and talking with us today about the Public Safety Director's position. Congratulations to you again. We are really, really happy that you're there, and we know you're going to make a big difference.
Thank you so much. It's certainly my honor to be here with you, Robin.
Thank you, thank you. And thank you so much for tuning in to City Corner. I'm Robin Boyce. We'll see you the next time.